Don't wait until a fire has started and tell me that there's a fire. Before a fire starts, there are symptoms, there is smoke. At least tell me that there's going to be a fire. Let me put it out, let me make sure that there's no fire, because prevention is better than cure. So I asked the then minister, what do you mean we don't have a consultant? So now you're telling me in my village, you think it's a medical hospital, university where I can just look around and bring a consultant? But I smiled, because I knew we were working on we already had 6 at that time, 6 doctors. He confirmed 6, and I told him, no, I don't want 6. I want more than that, because my child is now in a coma. He did his best under very difficult circumstances, and you came in. You know, human development is accelerated or undermined by one source, the same human race. Whilst others are working, digging a well for water, others are throwing back the sand so that there is no water. What do I mean by that? I know that at the hospital they used to steal, and they steal, up to now, steal medication. And what I didn't like, the reason why he said what I said in 1979 was, as a schoolboy, when you are sick, you go to the hospital. You are just going there for prescription, diagnosis, and then they give you a prescription and tell you exactly which private pharmacy you can get the medication. So I thought he was related to a particular minister. And I told him, well, whatever he is, tell him that if any day I become president. And then he looked at me and I said, yes, I'm going to be the president. Then he looked at me and said, how? I said, of course, if I have to stand for election, I will not win. Because the way the political scene is configured here, you cannot win elections in those days. And then he looked at me and I told him, I'm going to overthrow the government, but don't ask me how. Then he looked at me and said, there's no army. I said, well, that doesn't mean that there wouldn't be an army. And then they laughed. They looked at me and laughed. So in most of one thing he didn't say here, which I will also say, because he was not supposed to say what he said, was the fact that they never wanted their relatives to know that they know me and they are associated with me. Even in the school, they avoid me because the school authorities had their eyes on me. And I can tell you that I have succeeded as a head of state and doing my best for my country, lifting it. But one thing I failed to achieve is to form a students' union at the high school. Each one I formed died immediately after the first meeting. And then they will avoid even contact with me. And then I never gave up. Then he asked me, I said, well, the school authorities called my parents and told them that if I continue to associate with you, they will expel me. I said, do you believe in Allah? Well, they will expel me first before you, but nobody can expel me here. And to prove that, each time a student is in trouble, I took up the fight, especially with the authorities. And that made me very unpopular with the school authorities. But they couldn't do anything to me, because whilst I was politically very stubborn, academically also I was very sound, so they could have nothing to hold on to put me in trouble. You know. So, but anyway, I vowed when I took over that this phenomenon of people going to the hospital, government hospital, for only diagnosis and prescription, only for them to get medication elsewhere, is going to be a thing of the past. And we tried all our best. I think I have dismissed more than 7 ministers of health and many chief medical directors. We came to a situation where I went myself to Pakistan and also Egypt. President Mubarak has always been a very good friend of mine, and he will always be a good friend of mine because he stood up for me as a brother. And I realized that they produce better quality pharmaceutical products and much cheaper than what we were buying from the West. So I went there and we signed an agreement to be purchasing pharmaceutical products from there and Pakistan. But because of this pilfering and stealing at the central medical stores, I told President Mubarak that I just don't want them to. At first they asked, what do you want to be on the package? They wanted my name. I said, no, I don't want my name, I don't want my picture. But what I want is a code that, only myself and the Minister of Health would know, not even the chief pharmacist would know. So that on a monthly basis, I can send the health minister to go around the pharmacies and identify the stolen medicine, and we take them to court. This happened for almost 7 years, and then only for someone to decide that that is no longer necessary. Since then, each time somebody goes to the hospital, they give you a prescription to go to it, and then they tell you exactly where you can get the medicine. How do they know? So, I brought you to make sure that my child doesn't get sick anymore. But for you to be able to maintain my child to be a healthy, robust child that will benefit all Gambians and non-Gambians, you have the full authority to clean the hospital. You see, in this country, there's one language. They will test you. You are not a foreigner in this country. Let them not give you the impression that, oh, he's a Syrian, so whatever. You are a Gambian. And let me assure all of you that you should not fear what they tell you, because do what is right, the Almighty Allah is always with you. But you have my full backing. I'm happy that the Minister of Health, I think yesterday, I saw him on yesterday's paper, warning medical personnel about misconduct. I know now that by the grace of the Almighty Allah, we can get any medical staff that we need for this country, anywhere in the world. Don't clap because you don't know what I'm going to say next. I am going to institute Operation No Compromise with not only a bulldozer, but with a very strong detergent to clean the health system. This is unacceptable. People were dying at the RBTH who had kidney problems because there was no dialysis machine. And I thought that the dialysis machine cost hundreds of thousands. I was asking, and they refused to tell me. I went to Taiwan only to realize that the hemodialysis machine cost less than 15,000 United States dollars. I bought 10. Now they are nowhere to be seen. They say they have been spoiled. But if it is spoiled, the hospitals will have a storekeeper where whatever is spoiled is recorded and kept there. You go to the hospital, you will not find them. There are also deliberate attempts where they just destroy machinery. So, but don't worry about the cleaning. I will clean it for you. Yes, you do your work, and I will clean the hospital for you. Because it's not only your the Edward Francis Small Hospital, but I'm going to clean all the hospitals. Many people don't know why my wife went round to check, make assessment of all the hospitals. I was supposed to go. I was very angry because of certain incidents that were reported to me at the various hospitals. So I got up one morning and I said, my daughter looked at me and said, Daddy, don't go to the office. I said, why?